The pillars of hope, courage, and undying love are the very basics of foundation and wholesome architecture right here at the Autism School International. Today we get to learn more about autism and the very starting point of this colorful, vibrant foundation. Welcome to Beyond the Limit with me, Muthoni Maina.
My name is Samson Waithaka. I'm married to one wife by the name of Winfred Wanjogo, and between us we have 3 boys, the oldest being 19 and the youngest who is turning 10 now. Autism School International came about in the year 2016, and the reason for starting the school wasn't so much from the entrepreneurship mind, but it was out of a burden and out of a need that we identified in the society by the fact that our last born son happened to be autistic, and he was born in 2012. And so by trying to fix him in an educational institution where he would be fostered in independence in terms of academics, we found a need for a facility like this, because they weren't many, and the few that were there, they were overwhelmed, and so they couldn't offer quality service or And so that's how the idea of starting a facility came, a facility that would take care of these children with autism, now that we were already in it. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. And so when the need came, there wasn't much time for training to begin with, because definitely we knew that there were teachers who were trained in that, and there were caregivers and service providers who are trained in that, because in this line mostly we need the SNE teachers and we need the occupational therapists. And so we knew there were people whom we could use at least to start, but what was lacking first was the facility. So even before going for training, we started the facility and then brought on board those people who are qualified to do the work. Right now we have a staff population of 30. In-house, we have a staff population of 30 staff members. Yes.
And are there any devices that, get to come along with the facility?
The facility has to be equipped to take care of the children. We have some facilities in-house, like the therapy rooms. Then we have the play houses. Sometimes the children that we take care of, their play is so much guided. So there are facilities that are in-houses even for play. The therapy rooms, there are some other dark rooms that deals with meltdowns and such. And so it is quite inclusive in terms of the facility and the facilities that comes along with.
How can you define the zeal exuded by Sam Waithaka's parents as they came up with a solution not just for him but for others like him?
This is where you find the couple going through adversity until it is like they learn the lessons and they want to come up with a solution. I read a story of this man who was born with disability. He couldn't walk, and he sat down and came up with the scooter, and the wheelchair later was developed. So we see like necessity is the mother of invention. That's what some philosophers say. And then, despite this challenge now they are going through, they decide now to come up with something bigger than them. They don't want their child to be locked in. They want him to be exposed to other children as they are also solving a problem for other parents. It's like walking through this path has sharpened them. And it's tough, But they say we will solve the problem, not just for our son, but for even other parents within the community. It's a brilliant thing, very commendable.
Disability is not easy, and disability is one item that needs to be unveiled, to be demystified, for people to get to understand it. Broken in pieces, in smaller bits for people to understand it. Because when we got our last born son, we had 2 other sons before him. And so we expected it will be as usual, it will be the same. But then now with this child, in the course of the development, we realized some delays and some developmental delays, of which we thought they were just delays he would overcome. And so, there is that denial. And you are also not very quick to think it's a condition that needs to be addressed medically. So sometimes you lag and take long. And so the condition sometimes may be going from bad to us. Those situations, that sometimes when the situation is not intervened early enough, it keeps on deteriorating because there are no handling measures. You have not put containment measures in it. And so when our son was born, 3 weeks in life, he caught meningitis. And so this is a condition that lagged him behind and that brought about all this. And so because of that disease, even after he was out of hospital, whereby we thank God for saving his life. Meningitis is one disease that really kills so many. And so we are just grateful to God that he saved his life. But even after that phase of life from in and out of hospital, because of that attack, he was slow in development, which we actually related to the disease. And so those other developmental delays, we also sometimes wanted to attribute them still to the condition, until we realized the time has come for him to go to school. And so we needed to take him to school. Unfortunately, the first day he reported to school, we were called back by the teacher that they couldn't contain him. And so that's now where this journey started. Yeah. Initially we thought he was just mild, but now dropping a child at school the first day, 2 hours down the line, the teacher is called, you almost tearing and sweating and all that. They can't contain him. This child doesn't belong here. Try him in another school. And so, as a parent, you really get heartbroken. You feel discouraged. You had all the excitement like the other parents to take your kid to school, to see him grow. But now you have detoured. It's a detour call. The calls caused a lot of detour in his education life. And so I would say it wasn't easy all the way from the beginning. But we can only thank God that he is alive. That is one bit. But then the milestones, they came slowly. But then he's also catching up and doing very well. Because of that, we realized quite a bit early and called some early intervention. Like our son gained speech very early. Around age 3, he gained speech. And so he can now communicate in terms of talking. Okay, communication is not just about the verbal, but now he can communicate verbally.
My name is Winfred Waithaka. I am a psychologist and I work in Autism School International. My child is autistic. He's doubled autistic and also he's low vision. So I can say he's doubled low vision and autistic. When we got into this with my husband to understand that we have a child who is special, we were very free to each other and we shared everything. And this one helped us even coping. My husband really supported me And I can say even my family, because other siblings are grown-ups, I can say that my family really supported me so much. And even the far where I am today, it's because of the support they have given to me from the word go.
Every child wants to be brought up by both parents, and especially the presence of the father. The father is a symbol of security and pride. And when they are present, they offer a lot of esteem to the children and to the family. There is some kind of stability that they give. And when I look at Waithaka, he's a man who has decided to let go his manhood in terms of the patriarchal way, like a man should be the authority figure. And he says, I'll be there for my family. And he stoops there, and he's like an admirable person, a hero in this case, who is willing to sacrifice what the society may think. Because before, I have seen men who leave or abandon their wives when a challenge comes, especially a difficult challenge, like when a child is born with disabilities. Like, it's a huge thing. I can't handle it. Mothers have been left alone, but this man has decided to stand and support his family.
Actually, many are parents, and you will bear me witness, many are parents are in denial, as I said. The very first thing that you come across when a diagnosis is given to your child is denial. And even a school like this, sometimes some people even don't want to hear the name of the school, Autism School International, because they say it has a lot of stigma. Because the moment they were diagnosed with autism, they no longer want to relate with autism. But actually, one way of trying to keep on speaking about it and to keep on mentioning it, it keeps on sinking, and you start now living with the condition or with the disorder. Many parents come in denial, and when you try, and like when they are coming for assessments, we always demand that a child be brought for assessment. And they will come, sit, narrate their stories, and they will break in the office. One thing that this disorder has caused is so many family breakups, because most of the fathers, many a times they find it easier to call it quit, to disappear. They just disappear, and so the woman is there with a very pengine child. She can't go working anywhere, so she's just here with the kid, no money, no any economic activity, keeping on the child. So this condition turns many families into begging, because this is one child you cannot entrust to anyone many a times. So you are left either with the option of dropping from your place of work or getting a facility that will really take care of that child. And you see, like now, when that happens, even the other kids in the family, most of the time they drop out of school. Yeah? Because the breadwinner is no longer doing it. So you find the whole of that family, because of that disorder, happens like it plunks into a curse. Curse of a kind in terms of the financial curse. And so you find that even the other siblings, they didn't make it in school life. So finally, what is their end? Without proper education, what is their end? None can help the other.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
You see the woman you keep on admiring? They might be going through the same pain that you're going through right now, the same grief that you're going through now, or even the same disease that you are suffering with right now.
Why can't I see clearly?
But the only difference between you and them is that, yes, they cried, but they managed to learn through the pain, and they came out as conquerors.
I stayed for like 2 years without having a job. I
cannot even do a simple thing like taking a shower.
So Joy, you can imagine every day you're waking up, going to work, and knowing for sure, you have a dead baby.
Join me each and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on 19 with Joy Irungu here on TV 47.
At Global Precast Panels, we have the best quality, durable, and affordable precast panels to suit all your needs. Manufactured under a controlled environment, we have the best precast concrete panels, precast concrete floor slabs, precast concrete perimeter wall, precast concrete columns and beams. Our panels reduce construction cost by up to 40% with absolutely no plaster required, including added soundproof benefits. Convenient for story buildings, schools, offices, residential houses, hospitals, and warehouses. Take advantage of our free transport. Contact us on 0702 24 7267 or 07.
Samson says that other parents do not want to be associated with the name of the school. So why is it so?
This is issues of social stigma and prejudice, whereby people feel these are different children and they should not be put maybe in a public school or in a private school. They should be at home, feeling embarrassed about such situations. It's a normal thing in African setup sometimes. But these parents need to be commended. They started a school. They are openly saying, bring your child. We are ready to take care of them. They've walked through the path. So I think the society needs to change the way they stereotype persons with disability and offer support, empathize with them. Yes, support the school.
When God gives a vision, many a times He doesn't just keep it bare for you to see all of it. Sometimes it keeps on unveiling, or it keeps on unlapping day by day. But at least we have the projection of what we would want to do. Ours majorly and solely is about these children. These children many a times they are not accepted in the society in terms of they are like a burden to the society. Ours is to foster them to independence. Actually, majorly is fostering them to independence through education and talent. Until a time like when these children are independent even in the society. Because all of us, God has given us a gift, and we are always known for one thing. You know, we cannot be jack of all trades. If you are an accountant, you will find yourself a very good accountant. If you are a journalist, you will find yourself in that line, and you wake up every day doing that. And so we are trying to foster these children to independence in terms of their talents, identifying their talents, and fostering through that line to a point whereby it can create an economic activity that child can depend upon. And also that now that child will also be depended upon by the society. Imagine we have a child who becomes a very good keyboardist or pianist. That child will be needed in a church somewhere. That child can become a producer. That child can become a producer of music. That child can become so many other things. But it's because out of tolerance and growing this child, identifying the talent and growing it to a point whereby it can create an economic path for him.
Most of the time I was in the hospital. So I was in and out of hospital. I'm the one who was with the boy almost 2 years. I think few months I was at home. So it has a very big impact even from the sibling. That you can imagine for the 2 years without being at home as a mother, you know, so much happens. And I would say that our lives changed from that point. And so they really supported, but I can say that at first, everybody was in his or her own world. These 2 years, you'll have distanced yourself even because of the traumas you have and also the stresses you have. Like when this boy was in the hospital, he was in a coma. So at times your friend calls you, you don't know what will you answer. Will I answer the boy, I don't see any change? Do you answer the boy still there? Do you answer the boy, I don't know if he's dead or alive? So it's a state that I would say that it's a trauma. It's a trauma by itself, and even you don't know what to say, you don't know what to tell people, but with the help of God, I will tell people the boy is doing very well. But at the end of the day, I will keep aside and ask myself, am I speaking the truth? Because even myself, I don't see any progress. So I will say it's a state that's very difficult, and it makes you get into distress, and a stress that will also even trigger. Actually, I will tell you that at that time, head pressures were very high. Not that I had pressure their area, but because of the situation, makes you like even yourself, you don't understand yourself well.
Although Winfred is a psychologist, the society expects her to be strong for herself. So why does the society associate one's career with one's life experiences?
Well, this is because the society doesn't expect that you can give what you don't have. So the expectation is that Winfred is full of herself, and that is why she can go out there and give people advice and support. But we know that Kiswahili saying, we have a Kiswahili saying that says, wahenga walisema mganga hajigangi na daktari hajitibu. And that is the same thing. That's what is applying to Winfred. Though she has had enough of what she has gone through, she's even a counselor. There are also some times that she needs support. There's a possibility that one time she can feel that she's depleted, and so she needs to reservice herself. She needs to be refueled so that she can be able to give support to the society. At the same time, every one of us has a blind spot in your life. There's an area that you may not really tell where you are inadequate, or when you're falling short of courage. So there is need for you to have a person in mind who knows your background, who has your personal history, a person who can tell you when they are experiencing some changes in your life, when they can tell when you're not very normal. So it doesn't mean because you're giving other people support that you may not fail to meet the expectation. So a person like Winfred needs to be visiting another physician, a person who can take her through and check on her wellness. There is also a possibility that a person who is like Winfred there's a possibility of them experiencing burnouts. And these burnouts can only be treated fairly by another person who knows her and who can handle her issues and who can also add value to her. So that's the reason why we see that even though Winfred is in counseling, she also needs to get support from other people.
Actually, I think stress levels started at 2 weeks after birth, when he got ill, and it went more than actually 3 years. So it's not something that you'll get today and tomorrow you are out of it. So until when we realized this, you come back to your senses, and now you really understand this is not a bad of man. This is a condition, and you pick yourself up with the support of the family, and also all of you are in different levels. And you see with the delayed milestone is where now you see this boy is 2 years, but he has never walked. So it's a trauma by itself, seeing other children that you are of the same age, they are walking, they are running, and your child is wrapped, with the shows and lessons, and somebody comes near you and asks you, how many months is your child? And you tell him 2 years. You know, even they don't know what to ask next, so they just withdraw. So it's a trauma all the way. It's a trauma. Even the way people look at you and with the will look at it, and it's like you don't know even how to take care of the child. It's like you don't know how to feed the child. You go to the hospital. Also, the child is underage. With 2 years, is less than 10 kg. So all the way, it's trauma.
Many parents, when they receive news from doctors, and also how the news are relayed to them that the child is not okay, they get confused. 2 weeks down the line, they've been processing the grief. How is it gonna be? Maybe I was a career woman. I may not be able to go back to work looking after this child. The financial implication also may play a part. The stigma issues. So these things, if not addressed in good time, the mother can go all the way to having feelings of stress and burnout. And actually, this is a mental health concern whereby the mother needed to seek help, and current mothers who are going through such postpartum depression need to be assisted by professional psychologists and counselors.
To those absentee fathers, kindly, I would beseech, by the mercies of God, go back to your family. You are running away from God's obligation, and it's just a matter of time. He's catching up with you.